Hey, this is kind of a random video. It's not really random, it's just like my first time doing it. So, this is some Game of Thrones type fan art. And so what I'm wanting to do is just to chill, like, and please excuse me, because clearly I've had some drinks and that is bizarre. But what I'm going to be working on, I guess, immediately is this flag situation or banner situation. And this is how I fetch the images. I just choose one that kind of looks good. See, what I do is I figure that back in the day, during Game of Thrones time, Plague time, medieval Europe time, because they all have like English and Scottish and Irish accents. I don't know. But, during that time, like they had like some print processes that really weren't that accurate, So I don't trip on getting something like this to look exactly like it did in the show, I don't trip on anything really. Like the way that I found these images of the characters is just by doing a similar search, and there's Cersei, and here she is, and this dude, he was tripping all the time, but I have respect, and then Lord Varys, we all know, who's just about his shit. So that's just how I get the images, and I usually just chill this way. I put on some YouTube, some random shit, and usually it's some political stuff, and I'll tell you about how this is my first time. Oh, side note, my digital pen, which I use with a little digital pad, but it's not a touch screen, so and my tools here, I'll get into those in a second, but here are my like little marks, you see, so I know where to set up my situation so you can maybe see what's going on. You see back here on my books and my games and whatever. But this is about as good as we have to work with right now, because I just don't have an overhead camera, I haven't rigged my setup to be for something like that. But with this, disclaimer, if you ever see my hands looking a little cray-cray, I have eczema when I eat wheat. And yeah, I put oil on my hands, so sometimes they look shiny, but sometimes I just can't avoid wheat, like I like battered stuff, I like fried stuff, I like bread, so sometimes I get into a point, and I love ramen, so I get to a point where I've skipped for a long time, and then I'll buy a box of something just to be convenient, and then stuff like this happens. So if you see this craziness, I don't know, I just like cray lately. But basically like this weird texture. So it is what it is. So, but with this kind of motion, I'm just cleaning out and softening up my kneaded eraser. Just to get into what's going on here. I just go in, and I have oil on my hands, so I don't want to touch anything until I feel like it's been absorbed, you know, like I just put it on a few minutes ago. Even though it may not look like it, this little shine means that something's still there. So I just can't risk that coming on to the piece. So I just come in like this and clean things up a little bit. And I'm going to go as far as I can with this memory card. And where we go, we just go. I usually work with two. One is bigger and softer, relatively, but then I work with like a fine point and it's softer too. I have another one, but it's my book bag and it just won't matter at this point. But it's almost the same as this one, but this one's more generic.
My name is Dylan. I'm only 18. I never was expecting to arrive down here, you know. I don't got no memories of being here when I was young.
You know what? I've seen the Game of Thrones at least 3 times in totality. And now that I'm not watching it, I'll tell you what, man, like, I feel a little lost. Like, what do you watch when you're not watching the Game of Thrones? Like, I'll tell you, like, reading the book is cool and stuff, but there's just something that's really gratifying for someone like me to be watching it, you know? I know this is lopsided, but honestly, like, I don't give a shit. This was just like a play around piece, and what I'm trying to do in stuff like this is like, or in pieces like this, I should say, is not trip, you know? Like, sometimes I'll get so uptight. Oh, gotta let go. You know what I'm saying? Like, homeboy said it. But, like, I just put so much pressure on myself, you know, to be all perfect and stuff in a piece, and don't even let it be like working for a client. Then it's just like, unless I let go and just say fuck it, you know, I'll be all tight, and it just doesn't work, you know. So
some of them didn't even actually talk. They were a little bit scared, you know. You can tell in their faces. Then I hear so many stories about Salvador that, I mean, who wouldn't be scared, you know? I would be scared too. Do you know if anyone in your household is having pain on their back, knees, hips, neck, or shoulders? Good job, sir. You got popcorn. You got popcorn for a pour yourself. Good job, sir. I heard you straight for fun. Deportees, and there was like 5 or 6 guys that they were really interested on getting the job. I even talked to their family members. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be able to stay. I just need to actually do the background check like I always do and see if we can hire them. So what do you think? As long as their background is not something that is felony, you know, people sometimes need a second chance.
second chance, huh?
They say where I'm at is really dangerous because it's called District Italia. I'm pretty nervous to go out by myself. My family already talked to the leader of the gang here. She asked for permission, basically, you know,
the public. It's a pretty dangerous place to go on a bus.
Mm.
Basically, don't do nothing, you know. All I do is think, be on my phone, think of what my mom is doing, if she's doing good. Even my girl, you know, what she's doing. We better have a daughter on the way too, you know. She wanted to be a mother, and I wanted to be a father.
¿Qué pasó? Aquí estoy yo ya, por enfrente de la Dina. Para chivo. ¿Y la niña? ¿Y la niña? I grew up on La Dina. I actually was promoting to other kids not to join any type of gang. But since I was making a lot of noises and a lot of kids were not listening anymore to a lot of these gangsters, what happened is that I started having a lot of misunderstanding with the gang members. But they say one
I
thing
breathe a
was
lot. You just got to, you have to get over that shit. Because sometimes I hold my breath when I do stuff, you know, like exercising, drawing, anything, you know, like I'll just hold my breath, you know. I had I was isn't this fucked up, you know, talking about my past athletic career, but I had a trainer tell me once, you know, you're holding your breath while you're working out, and I always took note of that, you know, like and I noticed that I do it. This is kind of boring work, you know, because honestly, like these little details and stuff, like they matter, but they don't really matter to me. Like they do,
My cousin, he always looking out for
because you gotta get it right to a degree.
Right now, he's unemployed
But like,
because it's hard
I look
to
at the
get a job
faces
now.
as being more important. So I'm hoping that I don't get too much into the camera because I don't want you to see my face that's been all sweated off and shit because I haven't touched up my makeup. That's just how it goes. But so I have this line here. I don't understand Spanish, but I get what's going on. And on that note, I need a refill.